About 70% of the planet is covered in ocean. Waterways are congested highways, bustling with commerce, tourism, and terrorism. Tonight on Truth, Duty, Valor. 6 of the world's best navies work together to keep the peace. They patrol the Mediterranean. They keep an eye out for anything suspicious. The Canadian Navy combats terrorism at sea, one ship at a time. Over 90% of world trade goes by sea. It's the cheapest method of moving goods. The oceans are the world's waterways for commerce. Their security is critical for the global economy. The threats on the world's waterways are real. Piracy and smuggling. Threats against gas and oil infrastructures. And terrorism. Terrorists use the seas for transporting weapons and people, and to reach the shores of targeted countries. Patrolling and monitoring the oceans, it's a big job. No one country can do it. It has to be a team effort. NATO plays a key role. Fleets of multinational navies patrol the waters around Europe. They've been doing it for decades. But their roles have changed. Since the terrorist attack on September 11th, world security has tightened everywhere. The seas are no exception. NATO has 4 maritime task forces. 2 are mine countermeasures groups. The other 2 patrol the sea lanes and deter crime. One of them is Standing NATO Maritime Group 1. It's a permanent force, with sailors from some of the world's top navies, and warships to be reckoned with. Countries volunteer their navies. It's a 1-year commitment. Every year a different country takes the lead. This year, Canada is at the helm. Commodore Denis Valour commands this year's mission. For him, it's the highlight of his career and a great honor.
It is something that we all know is the highest possible seagoing position for a Canadian naval officer to go, and it is the only multinational one that we get to command. So when I was asked by my admiral to take the position, it is something that, of course, you look at that, it's a privilege to do it. And it is something that very few will have had the chance to do. So it's a privilege for me to have had the position and to do it.
Commodore on the bridge.
Commodore Rouleau knows the importance of the NATO mission.
Our friends, colleagues in Afghanistan are fighting that on the ground there. We're fighting it out here on the ocean, in the Med. We're after the same bad people, and in a different way. They operate differently. In our environment, they'll try to smuggle their terrorist people, actual leaders or members of the terrorist organization.
074, sir.
A fleet of warships creates an enormous presence.
Steer 095.
Including Canada, many other countries volunteer their navies. The United States, Germany, Spain, and the Netherlands. A French aircraft carrier joins the group in the Mediterranean, the Charles de Gaulle. She carries over 40 jets and helicopters and weighs 38,000 tons. She's a lucrative target. She never travels alone. The fleet makes up part of another force, a force that combines land, sea, and air assets. It's called the NATO Response Force, or NRF. Powerful enough to help nations in chaos, they can go anywhere in the world at a moment's notice.
When I describe the NRF, the NATO Response Force mandate missions there, I go from full combat operations, so firing missiles and engaging the enemy and all this, and this is what these ships must be capable of doing.
The sailors on Canadian flagship H.M.C.S. Iroquois keep a watchful eye. They patrol the Mediterranean Sea, a known route for terrorists, a gateway to Europe. They have to be ready for anything, at any time of the day. The Mediterranean Sea. It's lined with stunning beaches and historic cities. It's a hotspot for tourists, but a highway for terrorists. The sailors aboard HMCS Iroquois navigate the warm waters. They keep a lookout for anything strange.
Charles de Gaulle came up to 20 knots.
For Canada, the year-long mission is shared between two ships, HMC ships Athabascan and Iroquois. Both are world-class destroyers. It's the tail end of the mission. HMCS Iroquois sails the last round. The crew's journey began in Halifax. They sailed across the North Atlantic and all around Europe. And now they patrol the Mediterranean. It's their last stop before heading home. A warship is a small community. It's got all the amenities. A library, restaurants, a barber,
Fish, this is the best $5 I ever spent on a haircut in 4 months, buddy.
Oh, I'm very happy to hear that.
there's an airport. A fire station. A gym. And of course, a place to hang out after work. Able seaman Tony Hamilton is a stoker on board HMCS Iroquois. He works below the sea line.
On board, I'm the upper deck engineer. I am directly responsible for the engineering officer for fuel consumption, fuel management at sea. RASs, whenever we RAS, I'm in charge of bringing fuel on, putting it in separate tanks, and overall fresh water and fuel mostly is my job.
He's been in the Navy for 3.5 years. This is his first big mission.
All right, so this is the mess and below mess. It's where we eat all day, eat all our meals. It's where we come after work to have a few drinks also. Behind us over here is O'Neill's Bar. It's a good spot to have a few wets after the day. The bell over here, that usually means free drinks.
Tony's
That's a good thing, everyone's happy.
Yeah, brother!
Also, no hats on in the mess here, so if you're caught with your hat on, I'll ring the bell and that round's on you. Here's another spot I like to hang out during the day. This is the MCR. Hang out here a lot with these fine people here. There's my friends. These are the other stokers on board, and they just keep on stoking, so it's all good. All right, so this is 12 mess. 12 mess here is where all the engineering department sleeps. It's 54 people in here, but everyone gets along pretty good. Come down here to sleep. We have the occasional video game playing, hockey game on in the corner, and everyone's hanging out. There's not a lot of space down here, but there's more than enough room. This is where I sleep here. Doesn't look like much, but it's plenty to sleep in at nighttime. You got loved ones on for pictures and good times. This is life at sea.
The ship makes a good neighbor. If danger approaches, Iroquois is ready to fight. Iroquois is a floating village with serious fighting power.
So we carry on with the operations portion. No big changes here. The MCM group number 1 is still here involved in the Norwegian exercise. York and Montrose departed today, Riga, for their exercise in the Baltic. MCM group number 2.
The Commodore gets a daily briefing from one of his crew members. He has an international staff of 14 that serve him for the year. They work together for NATO. They put the ships through regular training exercises to keep them sharp. It's a bonus for all sailors to train with other world-class navies. The key to maritime security is being aware of your surroundings. You need to know who is around you at all times and why they're there. Your own survival and international security could depend on it. If you're a vessel within range of a NATO fleet, you're being watched.
There's supposed to be 15 crew on board, but you only have 10. Over.
Sometimes sailors even come over and board your ship to take a look around. Groups of sailors who board ships for the Canadian Navy are called the boarding party. Their job is to verify ships' registries, status, and cargoes. Investigation, not battle. Commodore Rouleau makes sure all his boarding parties are trained to a very high standard. It's something they must be ready for.
This is Moosehead, over. And I will meet you on the bridge once you arrive, over.
This ship and all the ships have to be ready depending on their location. I'll take the one that's closest. I'll take the one that has the capability to do it and say, okay, you will have to, I'm giving you a directive, you board that vessel, and this is a standard procedure they have to follow.
HMCS Iroquois and USS Boone train for the real thing. In the scenario, USS Boone is suspected of terrorist activities. Iroquois' boarding party is called to investigate.
Yes, sir. I have them mustered now. I have 18 personnel on the helo deck. I have 2 on the bridge and 2 in the engine room. Over.
Is it going to be a friendly boarding? Or will it be hostile?
Port watch the boarding stations, port watch the boarding stations. The upper decks are out of bounds to all non-essential personnel.
Boarding a strange ship can be dangerous. The ship's boarding party must be ready for the worst-case scenario. Lieutenant Owen Smith is a bridge watchkeeper on the Iroquois. His secondary duty is a boarding party officer.
When Canadian sailors board another ship, we just want to do our job over there. We're not going over to hurt anybody. We are looking after our own safety, and the only reason somebody would get hurt would be if they tried to commit violence against one of the Canadian sailors.
The boarding party is outfitted with a variety of weapons. Heckler & Koch submachine guns, C8 automatic rifles, Sig Sauer 9mm semi-automatic pistols, and riot control agents like pepper spray and asp batons. You have to be able to defend yourself if you come face to face with trouble.
Front.
The boarding party of H.M.C.S. Iroquois get a briefing.
Flashlight, water.
They will soon board a strange ship. The more they know, the better.
What we're dealing with is these guys have loose association with some terrorist groups, so we'll go over there to check for paperwork, any documentation, anything that seems out of the ordinary. The thing about their cargo, as you know, it's 300 metric tons of sheep manure. Okay, it's a good place to hide stuff, so be very vigilant, and if you need to, when you're searching, get in there and search.
Remember, you are authorized and obligated to defend yourself and the other members of your boarding team. Any questions? Have a good boarding.
Boarding party, that's in, jump. All right, Alpha Wave, out on the line, Bravo 1, load us up.
The boarding party is made up of members of the ship's crew, such as engineers, naval communicators, officers. The team has the skills to take over any ship, if necessary. The Iroquois is on high alert. The vessel of interest could turn hostile. The 20-person boarding party goes over in 2 waves, Alpha and Bravo. The Alpha wave is the first to check things out. They need to inspect documentation, cargo, and people. Make sure everything is the way the ship's captain says it is.
Is there a means of stopping and starting?
The boarding party's engineer asks questions about the ship's plan.
What I'd like to know is there a means of using automatic bulkheads, watertight bulkheads to have the ship considered, so we don't have anything like that?
Yeah, probably.
The boarding officer confirms the ship's activities.
Your weapons that you're to right? Yeah. Can you tell me where they are?
One deck down, aft about midway.
Okay. Do you have the keys for them?
I do.
Can I have these?
No.
Sir, do you have a ship's layout, a diagram of your ship's layout on the bridge?
The witnessing officer takes pictures of important documents.
One on top, one below.
Okay.
The cargo holds below.
Roger. I'll just do the first 2 just for...
All right.
And so all your crew members have passports or sailors'
All except
papers?
for one.
Okay. They're all being held on their person?
No.
They're here? Okay. So I'm the witnessing officer on Iroquois boarding party. So my main job would be to get pictures of the crew and validate that the crew matched their passports or their sailors' papers, sailors' documents, and as well looking at the vessel papers to see where they've been, to make sure that their charts make sense with where they say they were coming from.
Once a vessel is secure, it's searched. Often, the Bravo wave will be called in to help out, especially if things just don't seem right.
Got it.
The dangers that the boarding party may face on a vessel of interest would be there may be somebody aboard that would want to harm a Canadian sailor for political reasons. There may be spaces that have hazardous contents, or there may be spaces that, because of ventilation, may be hazardous for a person to go down without the appropriate equipment.
The boarding party searches the ship.
Okay, could I get you to hold your passport just at chest level and look directly at me? And sir, actually, I'll get this down from the sun. Could I get you just a step? Thank you.
Lieutenant Smith takes pictures of the crew and checks out their documents.
Okay, thank you, sir. And I'll return your seamen's papers to the skipper.
We go up there, hey. We go up that one right there. Okay. The code deck's right there.
Okay, we stand by.
All the information gathered is sent back to the HMCS Iroquois.
Giving you the disc to go back to Mother. All right, I need the box back.
The intelligence will be examined and the sailors checked against wanted lists. Boarding party members are trained to defend themselves if necessary.
Anytime we board, the weapons we take over are just for self-defense. We don't go over as, we're not Navy SEALs or JTF or anything like that. We go over just to do searches, and the weapons are a last resort while we were exiting a vessel and just for self-defense.
Get down, boys, get down! Hands behind your back, arms up!
2 of the boarding party members take preventative measures.
When we go, don't move until we leave the ship. Don't move.
They have reason to believe the sailors will cause them harm as they leave the ship.
Don't move until we leave the ship.
Maybe one of the crew member has become, hostile towards the boarding party, or maybe we found something on a vessel of interest that indicates that something fishy is going on, and these guys really do want to hurt the boarding party. Then for our own safety, we would put the personnel there in mechanical restraints, so in handcuffs, and then determine where to go from there.
The search team finds nothing. The boarding party makes their exit.
Watch it.
So far, there has been no need for real boardings on the mission, but it could easily happen, and all teams are ready.
Even second nature now. If this ship here, Iroquois, or the American ship or the Dutch ship would be tasked to go, I would give them the order. You are to go intercept that vessel and board that vessel. They're ready to do it now. I have no doubt in my mind.
Maritime security doesn't stop at night. Neither does training or ship duties. The aircraft carrier trains her pilots. They practice landing on 195 meters of runway, surrounded by the deep, dark sea. The Iroquois is busy doing something dangerous, but necessary. Getting gas. It's called a RAS, or replenishment at sea. When you're a NATO ship in the Mediterranean, the gas station comes to you. 2 powerful ships surge through the water, just 40 feet apart. Between them, the raging sea and a fuel line. It looks simple, but this is one of the most dangerous activities that a ship does. The Iroquois' executive officer keeps an eye on things.
Well, the one thing with the RAS is that you're quite close to the other ship, much closer than you are at any other time. So you're sitting between 36, 40 meters away, so that if something goes wrong, it goes really wrong. Well, you can have an engineering problem, so you're unable to maintain the speed, or if one of the engines has a problem, you can shear off to the left or right and either open or close. And at the same time, while you're connected, that can cause quite a bit of damage, not only to equipment, but to the personnel working there.
They need to know how to safely get gas, night and day, and in any type of weather. The 2 crews have to be on high alert. A snapped wire could split a person in half. A full tank for Iroquois is 80,000 liters. On long missions like this one, the crew gets a lot of practice. Refueling at sea is just one part of life on a ship. Now that the ship is fueled, the crew returns to their duties. They continue their fight against terrorism at sea. The Iroquois-class ships are world-class warships. They have two main capabilities: area air defense and command and control. A ship can be attacked from any direction. A submarine could assault it from below. A missile could hit it from above. Or another ship can strike it head-on. While it can handle any threats, its specialty is air threats. It has the power to defend not only itself, but also the others around it. On this mission, H.M.C.S. Iroquois is fully equipped. A 76mm Super Rapid gun. A .50 caliber machine gun on each bridge wing. A 20mm close-in weapon system. Sea King helicopters that carry Mk-46 torpedoes. Two triple torpedo launches. Decoy tools such as shield chaff. It's used to fool the missile into changing its course. And 24 Mk-41 vertical launch standard missiles. They soar tens of thousands of feet in the air. They fly faster than the speed of sound. If there's a hostile threat to anyone in the neighborhood, the Iroquois is ready to fight back. The heart of the ship is the operations or ops room. It's the command and control center. The ops room is where threats are usually detected. It's also where weapons are fired from.
Check the ES7.
This is where life and death decisions are made. Petty Officer Second Class Pat Saunders works in the ops room.
Operations is where all the intelligence gets collected and all the information gets collected. Electronic warfare, radar, sonar, intelligence general, all comes into the ops room, and we make a decision that we bring up to command and say, based on these intelligence, we assess that this is an aircraft or is a threat. And that's how it all works together. Everybody kind of fuses, some data fusion goes to command, and command makes a decision based on that. My job is basically to detect the radar emissions. And if an aircraft or missile is coming in, I can detect the emissions off the aircraft. I can make a recommendation to command and saying, down this bearing is a Mirage and is carrying an X-set missile. And based on those radar emissions, I can make a recommendation so that the missile can go and take out the aircraft or the missile or the gun.
Everyone wears protective flash gear. It will help stop their skin from melting if a missile hits the ship. The crew of the Iroquois train to defend themselves from an attack. If a missile is launched toward the ship, It would appear first on the ship's long-range surface radar. It reaches out 200 nautical miles.
Sierra, over.
Captain Saur.
All right, pack warning 1.
Recommend we bring the ship to action station based on a threat to the north.
In this scenario, a harpoon missile heads towards the ship. They practice response skills regularly. A missile can destroy the ship. Seconds count. There's no room for error.
Whiskey, Alpha Whiskey, Zippo 1 now.
Oh, Roger.
Those tracks, prepare to back up the gun.
When the captain suspects there's a threat, he brings the ship to action
Now
stations.
have to reckon in the system. Negative, sir.
No response, 42.
Yes, sir, we have the...
Yes, sir.
Overall, bring the ship to action station due to the threat to the north.
The sailors on the bridge are the eyes and ears of the warship.
Action stations. Action
They wear flak jackets to protect themselves from potential shrapnel.
Soon power both main engines.
Come on, people, let's go! Stay to the right, moving! 3 deck, clear! Close it down! Close it down!
The 300 sailors on board have 6 minutes to be ready. Everyone has a secondary duty during action stations. They work as a team. All weapons are ready. Damage can be fixed. Equipment can be repaired.
During action stations, in the middle of the night, you go off there, and everybody knows to get up, to get dressed. Everyone goes straight to their post. The engineers, they got section-based teams. We're there for damage control. You got the guys up here. They close up the 50 cals, the guns, the radars. Everything's ready to go. The missiles, everything's all manned, right, and kind of just flows together.
If the attack were real, the ship would use all weapons necessary to protect herself and all her fellow ships. In the training scenario, the Iroquois hits the harpoon missile out of the sky. But pieces of debris from the missile hit the ship. Now the crew has new problems.
Fire. Don't fire on a 2-deck between frames 24 and 29, establishing outbound.
If you destroy a missile at close range to your ship, you'll probably get hit by debris. It might cause a fire. A flood. Or both. The ship is all you've got between you and the unforgiving sea. So if you live on a warship, you'd better be good at fighting fires and floods.
Water ingress is 40 tons an hour. You get about 1 feet of water down the deck plate and the level is rising.
After section base copy.
Everyone has a job to do. They fight until the bitter end. fires and floods are what ultimately sink ships. All sailors on the ship are trained to fight them both. They hope to never be faced with the real thing. It's not all serious business. A ship is a good place to relax and unwind. There's 3 weeks left of the year-long mission. It's time for the crew from the Belgian ship to say farewell. They're needed for a UN mission off the coast of Lebanon. This will be their last time to sail past the ships of the NATO squadron. The crew of HMCS Iroquois gives them a proper send-off. It's a NATO tradition.
We're getting ready for our sail pass. We're saying goodbye to another ship, the Van Galen, the Dutch. So what we're trying to achieve is just to get everybody on their deck fully wet. So we've got a nice little plan. We've got a lure, a tiny little water hose, and then we'll use a major water cannon to hit them all. Watch out, it's coming. That would have been a hoot. That would have been. You got a hole.
The Dutch sailors dress up for the occasion. The Van Galen moves on to the next ship in line. HMCS Iroquois continues the mission. The crew of HMCS Iroquois helped fill Canada's commitment to international security. They've been out to sea for almost 4 months. So far, without major incident. But they still have 3 weeks to go. Anything could happen.
I'm 1 mile back from the pilot station.
The crew prepares for a foreign port visit. Port visits help establish the NATO presence. The people of the Mediterranean countries benefit from the task force presence. The Iroquois rests on the Spanish island of Palma de Mallorca, a jewel on the Mediterranean. One of the perks of long missions.
It's great, we're getting paid to travel the world here, right, and get dirty, it's fun.
Some sailors provide force protection while in port. They carry C-7s. They keep a watchful eye on the ship. For some, a port visit means a reunion with a loved one.
Hi, good morning. That's my beautiful wife right there. I haven't seen her since August, so I'm really looking forward to her coming across the brow. Can't wait. Hi, hon. Thank you. Love it.
Finally.
Finally, you're here.
I'm going to have a fantastic holiday with my wife. But she's not here yet, so don't picture me.
While the ship's in port, the sailors work in shifts. The ship continues to run 24/7. Off-duty sailors get to go exploring.
Forward, shop.
And take a well-deserved break from sea life.
I joined the Navy basically to get out of Northern Ontario and see a little bit of the world and come to new places. I've been to the Middle East twice so far, and I've been all over Europe and Eastern Seaboard.
They slip into the crowd and become tourists for a day. Back at the port, the Commodore is saying a personal goodbye to the crew of Van Galen.
Allens, op plaats. Rust.
I certainly would not have done my job if I had not come here and look at all of you face to face and tell you how much I appreciated Van Halen as part of SNMG-1. Never, never, never give up. That's what I've seen from Van Halen, and I know that's what you'll do. Thank you very much.
Allens, hey, cut.
The Commodore gives mission coins to 3 of the Dutch sailors. Including the youngest on the ship. It's a naval tradition.
It means a lot because we did hard work and we're going to another mission. And yeah, it's a nice thing from the commander that he gives this to us, to the ship. And I want to thank him for that.
Right to side, early water, go!
The Canadian sailors get their own souvenirs, medals. Part of their mission was a NATO Class 5 operation, Operation Active Endeavour, NATO's response to terrorism at sea. The Governor-General herself presents the medals. It's a nice ending to a great journey.
It's very rewarding. Chance to travel, chance to meet a lot of people, I can work with other ships, and lots of training opportunities. You know, we're probably the best trained Navy in the world, and we're probably the best Navy in the world, so.
This is my first mission overseas. It's pretty exciting. I get to see a lot of Europe and spots I would normally never go to see, but it's been exciting. Get to see, like I said, see a lot of cool stuff. Staying with the other NATO countries and meeting a lot of people off the other NATO boats is pretty cool so far.
I think the best time that I've had were spent out here, doing what I've been trained to do for 34 years before to take the job. Being out here, being with, of course, Canadian crews, but also the multinational ships, the ships that are with us here.
Basically, I got to practice everything that a Maritime officer prepares for to do your board, to be promoted and become a lieutenant. We got to practice all those details of the job here at sea. So it was definitely beneficial, and it's really a golden opportunity for a junior officer to come on a mission like this.
Next stop, home. They'll sail for a week across the North Atlantic and back to their families.
Cole Harbor. I'm looking forward to it. My fiance is at home right now, and I can't wait to see her. And that's the hardest part of being away too, is trying to be away from her, and her also for me, being away.
Going to Costco. No, I just seeing my kids and going home and seeing my house. see my lovely, beautiful wife, and I know just getting home for Christmas. I'm really looking forward to that.
This is the highlight of a career, not only a year. The year itself is the highlight of an entire career. So.
In January, a new team of NATO ships will continue the mission of counter-terrorism at sea.
Reading.
You're watching Truth, Duty, Valor.
You're watching Truth, Duty, Valor.